The next thing I want to talk about these cyber attacks. First of all, let me check my Twitter because I just got a report like an hour ago that Twitter is down. Has anybody been experiencing problems on Twitter? I just got some shit that came in and said that Twitter is down. And guess what? My Twitter is not. Okay, there we go. I was about to say it's not loading. Okay, maybe they fixed it. These cyber attacks are something else, man. I'm not saying that this Twitter shit had to do with any cyber attack, but it says tweet panic. Twitter goes down as frustrated users can't see images or content, and content is not available. It says Twitter appears to have gone down on this afternoon as users began reporting that images and content was unavailable. People began reporting problems with loading photos around 5 p.m. Eastern time. It says users share screenshots of error messages, content not available, images when trying to access photos in their timeline. Content was not available in every image, one user wrote on Twitter. So Twitter's having major problems. This is an outage map shows that the major metro areas like New York City seem to have been experiencing the most issues. Or maybe that's why. So if you're in Cali, New York, Los Angeles, Boston, Washington, D.C., then you may have, not everywhere, but these cities. Since Twitter has not yet commented on the outages, the majority of the issues, 45%, were being reported with Twitter's website. About 38% of the problems were being reported on iPhones, and 16 were being reported from Androids. My point being is that this is how the other shit started with these error service messages. They had the 503 error message. And that's how it started with the other shit, as we found out later that there was cyber attacks. It says visitors to the affected sites were met with 503 error messages and unable to load pages. The message warned that there was a connection failure. That's right. You know, last week it was the Amazon shit because I was suspended. But I don't know if any of y'all had problems getting on Amazon, but Amazon went out. It was similar to the same issue that happened last week with Amazon, where visitors to those sites was getting a 503 error message and were unable to load the pages. The message warned that there was a connection failure. It says the outages was caused by a software bug, which was triggered when Fastly customers changed their settings on the website. Yeah, so Amazon and shit was down last week. You got Twitter this week. These goddamn cyber hackers are playing games now. And it's not being confirmed that it was cyber hackers, but again, we know that they like to cover shit up and hide it. And then it comes out after a leak later. They don't look stupid, or they don't want to, like, I guess, entice the cyber hackers to keep going as if the shit is working. But I'm going to say when Amazon and shit went down, because not just Amazon went down, you had government websites that went down. Twitter had crashed last week. It's crashing again this goddamn week. HMRC, you had Facebook having problems. There were multiple sites having problems. And the White House was having problems. They shit was crashing and going down. That happened last week, and now here we go again. So I don't even think they probably rebounded and fixed the whole glitch. But whoever these cyber attackers are, they're really messing things up. Now, if y'all remember what happened with that, y'all remember I did that story on the gas line. What was it? The Colonial Pipelines? Okay, well, that story had came out the Colonial Pipelines, and we know that they shut down almost the whole goddamn entire East Coast. Right, the East Coast was hit. It was no gas nowhere. Everybody was panicking. Even had me making people panic because I started reporting on the shit, and people were coming looking at the politics as usual. A lot of y'all motherfuckers probably left hand went and got some gas. But the gas outages lasted a couple weeks with the Colonial Pipeline, even after they supposedly got back online and paid the ransom. Because they said they paid the ransom, they still was having issues. But it's supposedly saying that the federal government was able to recover about half of the payments that went to that Colonial Pipeline paid out to the cyber hackers. So here it says that the U.S. federal authorities are fairly tight-lipped on the method of recovering some $2.3 million of Bitcoin paid to cyber hackers of Colonial Pipeline last month. It is a rare but not unprecedented win for agents who are part of a newly reformed ransomware digital extortion task force. So this task force from the feds supposedly, now you remember Colonial Pipeline actually paid $5 million in ransom. So they got 2.3 of it back. But that still means the hackers, if this report is true, if the feds are telling the truth, the government's telling the truth, that still means the hackers got away with $2.5 million. Which I just said this shit last month when this happened. What did I say? All y'all who come to politics usually know I was saying that, hey, if they paid that goddamn ransom, because they paid it quick, right? They paid it before the story came out that we know they paid it. They got, let's say they got hacked on a Thursday or some shit, and by Friday, the next day, they paid the goddamn ransom. They was like, fuck it, we gonna pay it. We need to get the gas back up. They couldn't, they were shook. Okay, I kept saying when they paid that shit, I said, well, this is just gonna cause the hackers to be damn bold, and why not hit the next target? God damn it, if I hacked and got 5 million and got away with it, and a couple weeks go by, nothing happened, am I gonna hit the next target? You know Hugh, don't you? You damn right. You damn right. So I kept saying, like, it don't make no sense to pay them, because if you pay them, they're just gonna encourage them to keep doing the shit. But supposedly the feds got back half the money, but that still means that them hackers got away with about 2.5 million. And then the other thing is, I don't know how the hell they got back the money if the cryptocurrency is supposed to be untraceable. Ain't that the whole reason of using like Bitcoin and shit like that, Dogecoin and all these different cryptocurrencies? So I don't know what's the point of using the crypto if it still could be traced and tracked down? That don't make no damn sense to me. It says, but the big question for the crypto market participants may be how the government tactically tracked down the Bitcoin, BTCUSD, allegedly obtained by the Eastern European hacking group known as DarkSide. Yeah, so this is what they're trying to figure out, is how did the feds actually obtain it. So I don't know if they're going to come out. I guess we're going to never know how they got it. And I keep saying if they even got it. Like, they could just be saying that to try to, how would you say, they try to deter other hackers from goddamn doing this. So they put out the story like, oh, we found the money and we was able to trace and get it, maybe as a deterrent. Because like I say, if you keep paying these hackers, which I'm about to show you this next story, that shit just gonna keep getting worse, man. You can't pay these motherfuckers. I'm gonna let you know, man. I was locked up with criminals, man. You let the criminal win, they gonna goddamn further the criminal activity, and it's just gonna get worse and worse. And I'm about to show you that story right here now, because guess what happened? You had the Colonial Pipeline attack, and then right after that, what did we have this week? We had the world's largest meat company, JBS, reportedly paid $11 million in ransom to hackers who last week crippled the system. The CEO, Andre Nogueira, on Wednesday said that payment was made in Bitcoin, adding, "It is very painful to pay the criminals, but we did the right thing for our customers." Nogueira told the Wall Street Journal, we didn't think we could take this type of risk, that something could go wrong with the recovery process. It was insurance to protect our customers. The payment was negotiated by external advisors and made after the majority of the plants were operating again. Nogueira added, the company suffered a cyber breach affecting working shifts for beef and pork plants located in Ottumwa, Iowa, Worthington, Minnesota, Cactus, Texas, and Greeley, Colorado on May 30th. It also says here that Nogueira said the companies first became aware of the attack following a message demanding a ransom. It was not known when the payment was made. The company then began working to stop hackers' attacks, Nogueira said. It is not known how they were able to access the system, he added. It says the Russia-linked hacking group that goes by the name Revel and Sadan, I don't even know what the hell this say, Sadanokabi was behind the cyber attacks against JBS, according to Reuters. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm had Sunday warned against paying ransoms to hacking groups because doing so incentivizes future attacks. Whether you're private or public sector, you shouldn't be paying ransomware attacks because it only encourages the bad guys, she said. As I just pointed out, that's common goddamn sense. It also says that Colonial said that it paid the hackers nearly, from the Colonial Pipeline incident that I just was talking about, I already told you they $5 million they wound up paying. And you see here, they paid Colonial $5 million, and a goddamn couple weeks later, a month later, now they hit JBS for 11. They doubled the goddamn asking. This is why you can't pay criminals, man, right? They hit the Colonial Pipeline shit last month for $5 million. This week they hit the JBS food plant for $11 million. And next week, in 2 more weeks, they're gonna hit the next spot for goddamn $20 million, maybe even more, right? The numbers have doubled. Think about it. The Colonial Pipeline last month was $5 million. These motherfuckers doubled the asking price, and they paid it, and they didn't get none of this $11 million back. So whatever they use, whatever tactics the federal government used to get that $2.5 million back of that $5 million Colonial Pipelines paid, obviously the hackers are going to be smart now, because you already used that tactic to get back the first set of that first half of that first attack. So obviously you're not going to be able to use the same methods to get back money on the second attack, because it seemed like whoever's doing these attacks are smarter than our government. They're outwitting the government. So whatever tactics, again, they used last month to help Colonial Pipelines get some of that money back, I'm pretty sure the hackers have made checks and balances to find out what the hell it was, where they up, and now they're even better and they're bolder, so they ask for double the money. And what you don't hear in this story is that the feds were able to get any of this. They weren't able to get none of this money back. It says the FBI has identified DarkSide as a Russian-based cybercrime group that was the culprit behind the hacking for the Colonial Pipeline attack. So here you got the Colonial Pipeline attack came from DarkSide, and you got this other group, Revel, that just did the JBS attack with different names, but they seem to all have one thing in common, and they seem to be linked to Russia. And if I have time, I'm going to get to this story with Biden and what the hell's going on with Russia, because if it's true that these groups are from Russia that are hacking into all of our systems, then at some point somebody got to do something. This is why I keep talking about World War III gonna pop off. They're not gonna be happy that they set off a goddamn third world war. And this is some shit right here that can spark that. You can't allow people to hack into the system. That's something you can't have. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they gonna hack into the system and like get rid of my goddamn criminal record or some shit. And I'm cool with that. Like, I can't go buy a goddamn steak, or when I go buy a steak, the steak that I bought that used to be goddamn $21.36 is now $53 goddamn dollars. Then I got a goddamn issue with that. Right? I might go ahead and join the service to come and get your bitch ass. You can't be hacking into damn shit like things that we need, right? Like, you next thing you know, they hit a power plant and shut down. It's gonna be, boy. They already talking about this is gonna be one of the hottest summers on record. If I wake up in the morning and my goddamn air is off, we gonna have a problem. I'm signing up. I don't need no goddamn drive. I'm going to be all I could be in the goddamn army. So I'm gonna tell you right now, Russia, you better cut it the fuck out, or you gonna have to deal with a nigga like me. And that ain't something you want to do. I'm gonna go goddamn ride me one of them dolphins. Go to one, find out where them goddamn alien military bases at, team up with they ass. Call me a traitor if you want. Y'all motherfuckers stupid. I'm gonna say them motherfuckers stupid, man. Them humans are stupid. I had to deal with them my whole goddamn life. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna tell the goddamn alien, train me like a dolphin, nigga. I'll be a goddamn y'all see me in the goddamn I tell the goddamn alien, train me, nigga. Shit, I'll let them motherfuckers train me. I'll be a trained goddamn dolphin. Keep dealing with y'all dumbasses, man. Human beings are some dumbass creatures, man. It says, oh man. It says the CEO of Colonial Pipeline, Joseph Blunt, said on Wednesday that the FBI never recommended that we did not pay. Think about what we would look like if we didn't bring the pipelines back on until the following week. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said on Sunday that Joe Biden's administration is looking at all the options to defend the country against ransomware criminals. She said the issue will be pressed when the president meets with Russia's President Vladimir Putin. And I cannot wait to hear. So I'm coming live tomorrow because I'm going to talk about this shit. I might try to, I think he's supposed to be doing a press conference. It ain't no need to look at Biden press conference because that motherfucker just, I don't never understand what that old man's saying, man. We're not taking anything off the table as we think about possible repercussions, consequences, or retaliation, Raimondo said. The White House has warned corporate executives and business leaders to step up security measures to protect against ransomware attacks. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that Joe Biden will give Vladimir Putin a direct warning about his recent spate of cyber attacks against the U.S. when they meet next week. Because they keep saying that they don't think that the Kremlin or the Russian government have anything to do with it, but it is clear that these attacks seem to be coming from Russia. So I would say that Vladimir Putin basically is not like America. Vladimir Putin is a dictator. Ain't shit happening in that man's country that he don't know about. So if them goddamn Russian attacks coming from goddamn Russia, they doing it under his orders. That's Vladimir Putin. It ain't gonna be like you just gonna go to Russia and do what the hell you want to do. So all this shit about they don't think Vladimir Putin, if the story is true that the attacks are coming from Russia, them saying that they don't believe Vladimir Putin has anything to do with this is just a downright goddamn lie. It says the Kremlin had denied any involvement in either breach, insisting that the groups were lone actors. Sure they were. Of course Putin would say that. I'm gonna play this video about the JBS plan. Let's see what they talking about, man. So that's basically the background of the story. So we're going to see what they talking about. But anyway, like I say, these hackers seem to be on the goddamn venge. And it don't seem like they're going to be slowing down no time goddamn soon, really, to tell you the truth.
The meet confirmed JBS USA a ransom equivalent to $11 million after it fell victim to a cyber attack. The company's US CEO said on Wednesday they made the payment to protect their customers. Last week's cyber attack led to the suspension of cattle slaughtering at all of JBS's US plants for a day. The company produces nearly a quarter of America's beef, and there were fears that the disruption would threaten food supply chains and further inflate food prices. The attack also disrupted JBS's operations in Australia. Ransom software works by encrypting victims' data. Typically, hackers will offer the victim a key in return for cryptocurrency payments. The CEO of JBS USA, Andre Noguera, said, quote, "This was a very difficult decision to make for our company and for me personally. However, we felt this decision had to be made to prevent any potential risk for our customers." The FBI said earlier this month it was investigating about 100 different types of ransomware. The cyber attack on JBS followed one last month on Colonial Pipeline, the largest pipeline in the US. That attack disrupted fuel delivery for several days in the US Southeast. A Russia-linked hacker group has been blamed for both attacks.
Anyway, but this is not the end of it. So you know they hit the Colonial Pipelines last month. Last week they hit a couple weeks. I think it was last week or a week and a half ago. They hit the JBS. 2 weeks ago they hit the meat packing plant, the meat processing plant, the biggest meat plant we got in the whole United States. They shut that shit down. They had to play, okay, Colonial last month, 5 million. JBS this month, 11 million. Now let's go to what happened next. Because if you thought that's where the buck ended or that's where the shit stopped at, you would be mistaken. Yeah, you would be sorely mistaken. The next thing they hit was the goddamn House of Representatives down there on Capitol Hill. It says House of Representatives targeted in a ransomware attack lasting several weeks after tech site hack. So they didn't even report this shit, and they've been holding this on the wraps. As the government has been telling the private companies that they need to beef up their security, and they're holding private companies liable, and private companies need to take the initiative to protect themselves, and all this shit the government was demanding of the private companies. The whole time on the low, the government's been hacked and dealing with the same shit the hospitals have been dealing with, the JBS meat plants been dealing with, the Colonial Pipelines, the same thing the private business been dealing with. The whole time our government has also been hacked. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. That's why you come to politics as usual, because you're about to find out about this shit. It says the House of Representatives was allegedly targeted in a ransomware attack after a tech site was hacked. It says the site, iConstituent, has been dealing with a cyber attack for several weeks, according to Punchbowl News. It says the vendor provides outreach services to dozens of House offices. And it says also here that the company is reportedly now working with the chief administrative officer of the House to try to resolve the issues. Despite the concern, the CAO told the outlet that there is no evidence that broader House IT systems were hacked or infiltrated. Of course, downplay every goddamn thing. They're able to hack the fucking White House and the representatives. Yeah, I would say that that's a problem. I don't give a damn how big it was. They're able to get in and infiltrate the system is a problem. It says the news comes just days after the White House warned corporate executives and business leaders to step up their security measures to protect against ransomware attacks. There have been significant hike in frequency and size of ransomware attacks, cybersecurity advisor at the National Security Council said in a letter. And this was Ann Neuberger said this. It says the threats are serious and they are increasing. We urge that you take these critical steps to protect your organizations and the American public, she added, as they turn around and they get hacked them goddamn selves. This is why the government is so goddamn sneaky. They know they being hacked and infiltrated, but they go damn make everybody else look like they doing something wrong. It says the recent cyber attacks have found that companies to see ransomware as a threat to core business operations and not just data theft, as ransomware attacks have shifted from stealing to disrupting operations, she said. Strengthening the country's resilience to cyber attacks was one of President Joe Biden's top priorities, the White House has said. And I would say that he is failing goddamn miserably, about as miserably as he's failing on the border. But we're going to get to that here in a few minutes. It says, but we can't be alone. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Thursday, business leaders have the responsibility to strengthen their cyber defenses to protect the American public and our economy. No company, large or small, is safe from ransomware attacks, Neuberger told the business community. So there you go. So you got meat packing plants being attacked. You got Colonial gas pipeline being attacked. So they shut the gas down. That's back up. They turned around and shut the meat down. That's back up. And for several weeks, while all that's been going on, behind the scenes, undercover, they've hacked the goddamn government. So I would say at this point, these people have no idea how to stop this shit. So what would be next is I wonder. And are they going to keep paying the ransoms? Because if you're paying the ransoms, that means, I don't know, all this talk that they talking is cheap as Biden talking shit. He going to do this and say this to Putin. You got Navarro and Newberger and Paskey and all these officials talking all this shit. That shit is cheap because at the end of the day, obviously you don't know what the fuck to do. Because if you did, the one thing I do know about America is you wouldn't be paying that money, nigga. You wouldn't be goddamn dishing out no millions and tens of millions of dollars after every attack if you could stop it. They coming for Uncle Sam, right? That's Uncle Sam money. And we all know Uncle Sam ain't gonna play no games if he could do something about it. So I would just say that our U.S. government is hopeless right now. This is not where we want. Can you imagine what the hell are we supposed to do against the alien technology if we can't stop the goddamn Russians and the Chinese from hacking us? No Joe Biden getting hacked. He going to talk to Putin. He going around and his ass, senile ass, gonna fuck around and give Putin his damn password. Why? Oh, goddamn, we gonna stop the hacking because, you know, my password is 223040 Joe. What that nigga said is, I remember back in the day when that nigga was running for president, he said his goddamn website, go to Joe 3330 Joe. Oh man, I can't remember, but it was some shit like that. Joe Biden 2230030 Joe. Sit your old ass down, man. They ain't got, man. Damn, man. I just can't believe Biden was representing the United States of America, man. It's a damn shame, man. Anyway, man, like I say, man, JBS got hit. I don't know, but I know it's too hot to be playing games this summer with these people, man. That's what I do know. I know it's too hot for these people to be able to just come into our systems and hack and shut shit down at will, at random. And it's very disconcerting to keep paying all of these goddamn millions and millions of dollars in ransom because, like I said, it lets me know that they have no idea how to stop it. So my point is, it seems like it keeps getting worse and they keep asking for more, right? You shut down the gas to test that out. Then you shut down the food, check, test that out. Obviously, these people still haven't figured out how to stop it because you paid the goddamn money. So if they decide to want to come and shut the food or the gas down again, they can. As of right now, as far as I would know, they're able to get into the hospital records and into the hospital systems. They shutting that shit down. They shutting hospitals down. So next thing is going to be power plants, right in the middle of the, especially a lot of Republicans and a lot of white people seem not to believe in climate change. This is going to be, right now, I just heard like all across certain areas, the temperatures for the whole next week, you got record-breaking temperatures. I'm going to do a story on it. I might try to cover it here. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But you about to have record-breaking temperatures all around the U.S. next for a whole week straight, right? You got temperatures reaching 100 plus degrees, in some places 115 degrees, right? I just read this couple stories today where it's going to be certain places in the U.S. As of June is going to be seeing their hottest days of any June ever. They're breaking records as they do every goddamn year. Now, just imagine how up it was in Texas when the snowstorms came through and the plants shut down and they didn't have no heat and people froze to death and died. Now, take the other side of the spectrum. If the plants are shut down and you ain't got no air, freezing to death is one thing. I don't know what's worse. What do you think? I might put a poll up later and figure out what do you think is worse? Freezing and not having no goddamn heat in the winter, or burning and not having no air in the summer? I would think that they both horrible deaths, but I would think that there ain't nothing like being hot. Right? Ain't nothing like being hot, man. I think at least when you freeze to death, you get to a point where you get numb and it's probably an easy pass. But when you burning to death, you pretty much just gonna suffer.